7, number of completion. You Bible scholars, y'all know what that is. So 2019, the plan is in effect, and we got a good price, and I made a good deal for myself. So it really worked out. And I was, winding down hair anyway. I was tired. My back was hurting. I'd been doing it so long. And honestly, I talked about this in season 2. I didn't like where the hair industry had gone, especially the black hair industry. Everybody gluing it on and putting it on like it's a hat or a helmet and tying it down. And that was not me. I was a short hair guy. I was a color expert, and I killed that. And I enjoyed that. I thought it was very artistic. It was a great way for me to express myself artistically. But even that, I was tired. I had corporate clients who no longer wanted to really, really experiment. They paid really well. They were consistent. They came every week. But many of them were boring from a hair industry. They were great people, but just boring from a hair perspective. And I didn't want to do it anymore. So once I sold the shop, we stayed there and worked. March 13th of 2020 was the last day I worked in the salon, in the salon, because that would be the day, the very next day would be the day that technically on the 13th, that night, they announced that they were shutting the world down. So I didn't know what that meant. I was still in school. I didn't know what that meant for the rest of my plan. So I didn't think about it. I was like, okay, well, I don't know what that means for my family economically, but we'll be fine. My wife was a teacher by then. She had transitioned out of hair years prior. She was smarter. I should have been got out. And so she was teaching. So she was just teaching online. She was teaching at home. Or what do they call it? Online, or they have another name for it, or whatever they call it. She was teaching on distant learning or whatever. She was teaching online and teaching from home, still making her salary. We had moved in with my mom to just kind of recalibrate because we were getting ready to position ourselves to buy a house. So we moved in with my mom for a very temporary time right before COVID hit. And then COVID hit. Like a month before COVID hit, we moved in with my mom, and then COVID hit. And I was like, oh my God. But then COVID ended up being a blessing in disguise. I was able to get unemployment, which I never knew I would be able to get as a hairstylist, but I paid taxes. So I was like, okay. I got unemployment, and that wasn't nearly what I made doing hair, but still, I didn't have the same kind of overhead. So life during COVID was good. But as time progressed, we weren't sure, what the world was going to do. We didn't know when the world was going to open. So we were stuck. Like, okay. And then, March turned to April, April turned to June, June turned to October, Christmas. First year, 2020 Christmas was weird. COVID, we at home. By Christmas, you could navigate with the people you were real closest to. So, okay, we've tested, everybody tested negative, we're going to get together, that kind of thing. And I was like, man. But during that time, I started working on my second book, which was a year late. And that worked out. I was able to get the book written in 6 months and get it finished and all of that. So I'm looking going, okay, things are rolling. I got this money in the bank. We're saving money. We're getting our stuff straight. We're getting ready to buy this house. That's redundant. And 2021, we started looking at houses. Now, remember, my plan was in 2020 in the fall to start teaching or something like that. Well, that didn't happen because I wasn't finished. I got a little delayed with my degree. So I didn't finish my degree until January of 2021. But there was nothing to do with it. Schools weren't open because that second year in 2021, the schools were still closed. So I was still without a job. My wife had gone back to her classroom to teach virtually while the kids were at home, because our internet at home was crazy. We had a whole bunch of people in the house and everybody was wearing the internet out. So my wife couldn't function with the internet being that slow and teaching class. So, and she taught, she teaches SPED, and it was like first, second, or third graders or something like that, third or fourth graders. That was a lot. So she would, every day she'd get up and go to the school and go into her classroom so that she could navigate in her world while the kids were at home learning that way, which was also really cool.